longtime friend of Vince McMahon, is now outright advocating for his WWE return. Long spoke to TMZ yesterday and he boldly claimed that McMahon needs to return to WWE, and this would ultimately get the fans back on board. I think what we got to do, we got to get Vince back so we can do this thing right and get the fans back on board. Along with an add that McMahon's chapter in WWE hasn't closed and WWE was his life. I don't think the chapter is ever closed with him. I think Vince, the way that like I said, I don't know what happened or any of that stuff, but to me, in my knowing him, this was his life. He loved this. This was his life. I had a chance to ride on the plane with him, and one night we was on the plane, and as soon as we took off, he talked about wrestling until we landed. And naturally, Long fails to take into account the true reason why McMahon still isn't running WWE right now. It's a rather outlandish claim to say that McMahon returning would actually lead to the fans getting back on board. As things stand, there don't appear to be any plans for McMahon to return in any capacity. And even though the WWE product isn't red hot right now, TKO will be fully aware that McMahon returning wouldn't instantly fix all the problems the company faces. Next up, is it over for Jacob Fatu? Now it seems that Jacob Fatu could be away from the ring for a significant period. According to a report by Selfmade, Fatu is currently dealing with a health issue described as a non-wrestling related injury, which may prevent him from competing. This comes after a difficult period in Fatu's WWE storyline, as he recently suffered a major setback in weekly. Cena stated that the tournament is still a work in progress, but he wants to see exhibition matches, and the tournament will be WWE's all-star game. It's still a work in progress. What I want to see is a night of exhibition matches. I always for SummerSlam is being planned according to WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes is reporting that a match between Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair has been pitched for SummerSlam in August. WrestleVotes Radio and Fightful Select is told that a match between Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair has been pitched internally for SummerSlam and at one point was penciled in for the event. Sources also indicate that WWE Creative has been waiting for the right time and stage to present this first-time matchup. Those we spoke to believe that SummerSlam is the ideal setting for the bout. A report adds that whilst plans could change, WWE believes that right now is the time to deliver the first time ever encounter. Next up, a top WWE star moving brands. It seems like CM Punk is set to make his WWE return before SummerSlam, and now it looks like he's going to be moving brands. According to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the former WWE champion will be returning on the SmackDown brand. This makes a lot of sense, as Raw is filled with top stars such as Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and SmackDown could definitely do with the star power. There's definitely a ton of new feuds that CM Punk could be involved with. One against Ricky Saints, maybe Trick Williams, maybe even Sami Zayn. What's insane is that the last time that CM Punk actually wrestled on SmackDown was all the way back in January of 2014. Next up, The Rock reveals a cancer scare. Now, The Rock recently discussed a recent health scare during a new interview with Esquire. The WWE legend revealed that he felt a lump on one of his testicles during a shower, and The Rock went on to say that his doctor concluded he was dealing with epididymitis or possible cancer. So I had to live for that for those 24 hours, not knowing I had to be on all day, joking around, making speeches. And the final boss proceeded to clarify that he's perfectly okay now, and there's no cancer present. And finally, a WWE champion upset. Now, final story today looks at a new interview with Brie Bella, who's expressed disappointment with WWE. One half of the reigning women's tag champions appeared on Busted Open Radio yesterday, and she stated that she was disappointed that her and Paige didn't get to wrestle during WWE's recent tour of Europe. So first I'm going to start off with the wrestling part, and then I'll get into what I did between the shows. But I obviously started off my trip in Barcelona for Friday Night SmackDown. I will tell you all, Paige and I were very sad not to wrestle in front of you in Spain or actually be out there.
Careful with this contract, and obviously if the floor is $178.5 million, where you can't lose him, but you also need to do what you can to negotiate as much as possible, because every $1 million difference could ultimately determine whether or not it is a positive or negative value contract. And we know in today's NBA, it's not so much about, well, you can't lose the players, so no big deal if you overpay them, because your flexibility, as Rob Blake would say, your optionality decreases.
In proximity and re-releasing an oldie but goodie episode with two Black Panther storytellers, Ryan Coogler and Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ryan needs no introduction on this podcast, but for those who need it or want a refresher, Ta-Nehisi Coates is a journalist and author of the best-selling books Between the World and Me, The Water Dancer, The Beautiful Struggle, We Were 8 Years in Power, and The Message. Ta-Nehisi had a successful run writing comic series for Marvel's Black Panther and Captain America. He is also the host and writer for Wakanda Forever, the official Black Panther podcast, which told the story of the making of the sequel and his friendship with Chadwick Boseman. I had the pleasure of working with Ta-Nehisi on that podcast, and we'll link to the show in the show notes and the description below. For the anniversary of the film Black Panther, we thought it'd be nice to revisit Ta-Nehisi and Ryan's conversation. They talk about Black Panther, but they also talk about writing, the writing process, and music. This episode was part of our first season, so it is audio only. For those watching on YouTube, we'll have photos and images on the screen so you can watch along while you listen to the show. Hope you enjoy this really beautiful and fun conversation between two artists and storytellers connected with their love of writing and story, their work on Black Panther, and their friendship with the late, great Chadwick Boseman. Enjoy.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Ryan Coogler. I'm a writer, director, and producer of film and television, and I'm also founding member of Proximity Media, and I'm here with my good friend Ta-Nehisi Coates.
I'm Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm a writer, and I am here. Well, I'm honored to be here with my great friend Ryan Coogler.
That's a little. I mean, you do more than just write, right?
No, not really, right? I mean, a little bit, but no, not really. No, that's mostly. I teach. I mean, I do a little, with the kind of impact, efficiency, not just Nas, but at the best, the best of folks. I mean, today, like even like that a Kendrick does
Right.
it.
Yeah, totally.
My sentences sticking in that way, and they usually aren't, but it's nice to have that as an aspiration. So came to Howard, gave up on that, and I started in on poetry. And a mutual friend of me and Camila's, is actually Camila's man at the time, would do these like events, these open mics, and Camila would help him organize, and we got tight, and and the reason why I was saying that, it's where me and you intersect, is because Camila was in the School of Fine Arts, and with her, and running with her was, of course, our great friend Chad Boseman.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just the beginning of it. And I didn't realize what that meant. In some ways, it's the beginning of me and you even sitting here talking. You know what I mean? Like we are.
Yeah.
And that is, it's crazy when you're young to know, like, yo, this ain't practice anymore.
Right.
Like, the tale is being told right now. You know what I mean? We're in those opening scenes of Act 1 right now. Right now.
Totally.
Right now.
Yeah. No, looking back, yeah, like I understand. It puts it in perspective, man. Like when I was young, I remember my parents would be so serious about like what I was doing, and so adamant about like being conscious of like who I was hanging out with, where I was spending my time, and then being an adult looking back, it's like, oh yeah, the game had kind of already started. How tall are you, bro?
6'4".
All right, so you
It's useless. I don't play ball. It's useless.
But no, what's funny is, bro, you was telling me you've been taught your whole life.
Mhm.
People would ask your mom if you played basketball. What would your mom
She
say?
said, no, he reads. She got offended. She be pissed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the 80s, you know what I mean, early 90s, and somebody saying, you know what I mean, like with everything that's going on. She's
Yeah.
like, nah, he reads. She was saying like with that, nah, he reads, like with an attitude.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I just thought that was so great.
Like how dare you look at him and think that, And I did. I mean, I read a ton, man. Like, just going back to what we was talking about, the whole pop culture piece, I really didn't have in my mind that it was a separation between, I don't know, like I read the Odyssey in high school, I read Shakespeare in high school, and I really liked Shakespeare. Like I really like, I could feel the poetry and what he was doing, like even at that young age. But I didn't really separate what I liked in that from what I liked in Eric B. and Rakim, from what I liked in like Chris Claremont or whoever, you know what I mean, was writing the comic books at that time that I was, like, it didn't really